Livingston Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for September 12th, 2023. Good evening. Welcome to the public hearing for the Township of Livingston Zoning Board of Adjustment. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. If you are an applicant for a D or a use variance, you should be aware that such a variance can only be granted after showing that special reasons for the grant of the variance exists, and that variance can only be granted without substantial detriment to the zoning plan of the Township of Livingston. You should also be aware that in order to be granted such a variance, you will require an affirmative vote of 5 members of the 7-member Board of Adjustment. This evening, as you'll see, we have 6 members. Other variances require a majority of 4 members to grant the variance. If you are an applicant for any variance, excuse me, and your variance is denied by this board, you have a right to appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision, and that court may overturn the decision of this board. If you're an objector to any type of variance that has been granted, you too may appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision. If you do file an appeal, I ask that you please provide a copy of your complaint to the Planning Administrator, Jackie Hollis. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Star Ledger and the West Essex Tribune, and a copy was also posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. In addition to having notice posted, notice of this meeting was placed on the township's website. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions or make statements regarding each application at the appropriate time. When the time comes, if you would like to address the board, please come to the front and use the microphone so we can make sure your comments or questions are part of the record. We will now call the roll.
Mr. Nardone? Ms. Khan is here. Mr. Buptani?
Here.
Mr. Affronti?
Here.
Mr. Beer?
Here.
Ms. Fass?
Here.
We have a quorum. And I will note that Mr. Valerio, our attorney, is here, as well as Ms. Madry and Ms. Hollis from the Planning Board.
Thank you. If you are here for 25 Marissa Court, Block 3901, Lot 106.15, application number 2023-10-V, David Wilner, that application has been adjourned to October 24th, 2023. So if you are here for that, you can come back next month. Okay. Ms. Khan, will you please call application number 2023-32-V?
Block 1605, Lot 28, 122 Fellswood Drive, application number 2023-32-V, 122 Fellswood Drive, LLC. Applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family residence in violation of the following sections: 170-87CC4, habitable floor ratio 30% allowed, 33.6% proposed, 3.6% variance requested.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Matthew Posada. I'm with the law firm. Oh, there we go. Should I start over? Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Posada with the law firm Sills, Cummins & Gross, and I represent the applicant, 122 Fellswood Drive, LLC, in connection with this application for habitable floor area ratio. The applicant is here tonight proposing to demo the existing single-family home to then develop it with a 2-story single-family home. The home itself will be fully conforming, but for the ratio itself, the ratio will need a variance relief of 3.6. In the R4 zone, 30% is permitted, whereas we're proposing 33.6%. Although we do have a ratio variance, the floor area itself is conforming at 3207 if we had a large enough lot to accommodate it. But for that issue is why we are asking for the ratio variance, although it's not technically an undersized lot. Tonight itself, I will have only 2 witnesses. My first witness will be my architect, who is to my right, Jose Cabello, and my second witness will be my planner to put on the D variance relief justifications on the record. If I may, I'd like to call my first witness, Mr. Cabello.
You raise your right hand.
Sure.
Do you swear the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please give us your full name and spell your last name.
Sure. Jose Carballo, C-A-R-B-S in boy, A-L-L-O.
Great. Jose, can you please provide your educational credentials? Also state whether or not your license is still in good standing, and name 3 boards you've been qualified before in the past as an expert in architecture.
Absolutely. I received my Bachelor's of Architecture from the New Jersey Institute of Technology back in 1980, last century. I've been licensed since 1986. I've appeared in 100% of the boards in Hudson County, about 50% of the boards in Bergen County, and I've been in front of this board several times before. And I got to say, it's nice to see you guys in 3 dimensions as opposed to on a screen. Is it time to go yet?
Yeah. Does this board accept him as an expert in architecture?
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections? Hearing none, the witness is accepted as an expert is offered.
Great.
Thank
And
you.
Did we swear you in?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, great. Jose, are you familiar with the R4 zone?
Oh, yes, I am.
And is the subject property located in the R4 zone?
Yes, it is.
And when these plans were being drafted, were those zoning and bulk requirements being considered?
Yes, they were.
Great. Can you please walk us through what we're proposing here today and why we exceed the ratio?
Sure, absolutely. If you excuse me. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So the project that we have in front of you today, it's a single-family home. It's not unlike some of the single-family homes that have been built, not only in Livingston, but also in the neighborhood. And I think that planner is going to talk a little bit more about that. But this house is a little larger than it should be by about 3.6 percentage points, which is about 1% more than what's allowed at 30% coverage. And the reason for that, if I can walk you at some point. If I can walk you through the floor plans, which you have on the screen, it is a 2-story building. It's a 5-bedroom single family, which actually allows for intergenerational or multi-generational living. The first floor, which is on the right side of the drawing that you're looking at, has the entrance, which is centrally located. To the right is a single, it's a bedroom that actually has an en-suite bathroom, and this is usually for the older generation, for the, say, grandparents. And right behind it, you see that it's a large living room, dining room, family room type of thing, kitchen. Again, this allows for all generations to, enjoy life together, be able to, just spend time with each other. We do have a family, so that's the back of the building. We also have a garage on the first floor, easily accessible to the rest of the building. On the second floor, we have 4 bedrooms. We have the primary bedroom towards the rear, and we have 3 other bedrooms that share the 1 bath. You're also going to see that these spaces are adequate. None of them are oversized. They're not overly large, but they do allow for these multi-generational activities to happen, and enough space for them to do that. And by doing that and trying to make them as small as possible, we found that even when we did that, we're still a little bit over the habitable FAR by about 3 points. Basement, excuse me. The basement has the 1 space towards the front. It's an office. Again, it allows for the one activity that's really happening today, which is the work from home. And this is where the person who is working from home can actually go down there, have some peace of mind, some quiet, and work out of the house. The last sheet, it's actually the elevations. This is what you're going to see from the outside. Again, as you can see, it's a nicely designed house. It has some what's called hardy board siding, which is the glass fiber reinforced concrete siding, which is very durable. It's really very aesthetically pleasing. The firm tried to make this house as nice and aesthetically pleasing as possible. Again, as far as the habitable FAR, it was something that was needed for this house to become a multi-generational house on a space that people can actually live in and thrive in, and, you know, just spend there a long time.
Terrific. I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Thank you.
All right, thank
Does
you.
anyone
Thank
in the
you.
public have any questions for this witness?
All right, thank you. I'd like to call my next witness, my last witness, Mr. Peter Sept, for planning testimony.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Peter, can you please provide our educational credentials and name 3 land use boards where you've been qualified before in the past as a planner, and whether or not your license is still in good standing?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, a master's in city and regional planning. I was licensed as a planner in 1976. I've testified here before and been accepted as an expert planner in that instance, and my license is still good.
Terrific. Is the board accepting the planning?
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections? Then we can accept Mr. Seck as an expert and as offered.
Thank you. Peter, are you familiar with the R4 zone and also this municipality's master plan?
Yes,
Did you have an opportunity to visit the subject site?
yes, on several occasions.
Okay, can you please walk us through why you believe that the D4 justification can be met here for the subject site?
Certainly. I have a handout that might be helpful.
Mark, this is to the one.
What is it? What are we calling this?
You want to mark this A1?
Yep.
What do you use there? We'll mark this as Exhibit A1.
A1 was prepared by me, and it consists of 5 pages. I'll just briefly describe it. The first page shows the lot pattern in the area. The subject property is somewhat irregular in shape. The area is fully developed with single-family homes. On the second page, you see what the house looks like that is proposed to be demolished. It's a 1-story small ranch, one of the smallest on the street. You'll see on the right-hand side that the existing house violates the left side yard. The new house that is proposed will fit 100% within the eligible envelope. On the next page, you see the floor plan. And again, we're proposing a habitable floor area of 33.6%, where there's a maximum of 30%. However, we do satisfy the maximum ceiling. As indicated by the architect, one of the features of this house is this intergenerational issue, having a guest or parent bedroom on the first floor. I note that when you do your next housing element, the state law has been amended so that now you have to address the extent to which your ordinances or local factors advance or detract from the goal of preserving multi-generational family continuity. So the answer is this idea of providing, of the benefit of providing multi-generational living has been recognized by the state legislature. If you look at the next page, P4 and P5 on the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the character of the neighborhood. And as you're, I'm sure, familiar, this is an older neighborhood with a number of ranches that are being replaced by houses that meet modern standards, typically a 2-story dwelling. And again, it's in a sense a matter of time before many of these get replaced. Of some interest is that if you face this property, the dwelling to the right has the same square footage as we're proposed, although it's a smaller lot, so it has a 35% housing floor area ratio, and we're proposing a smaller ratio. So page 4 shows our side of the street, photos that were taken by me. a couple days ago, and they, in my opinion, fairly accurately depict existing conditions. The next page is the opposite side of the street, and there I referenced a new dwelling that is 3,207 square feet, and again, slightly over in housing floor area ratio, but it fits within the neighborhood, and it certainly is the trend. So we are removing a substandard left side yard variance. The only variance we're seeking for the new dwelling is the habitable floor area. Your master plan spends a lot of time, the 2018 master plan, about promoting aesthetics of a neighborhood. In my opinion, this clearly improves the aesthetics of the neighborhood, much in line with the trend that is going on in Livingston, reflective of the fact that it's an attractive community. This is a D4 variance. We need 5 affirmative votes. It's under the Coventry standard, where we concentrate on the overage on square footage, the 338 square feet that's over the maximum habitable floor area ratio. I would suggest to the board that the only impact is one of aesthetics. You would never know visually that this building has slightly more square footage than is permitted. In my opinion, it fits within the neighborhood. In fact, the house to the right has a higher habitable floor area ratio. Because it complies with all of the setbacks, in my opinion, is a handsome house that advances aesthetics certainly on the property, but also within the neighborhood. In my opinion, there is a public purpose, the advancement of aesthetics, which is a municipal land use law purpose. It certainly eliminates the substandard setback on the left-hand side. And in my opinion, if the board approves this, it can be approved without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantial impairment to the zone plan and zoning ordinance.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Would anyone in the public like, I'm sorry, do you?
Oh, I have no further questions.
Okay.
I know some of it, I guess.
And that,
And I waive my summation, yes.
okay, thank you. Would anyone in the public like to make a statement regarding this application? Would anyone on the board like to make a statement regarding this application? Well, go ahead. Okay. I appreciate that the house is thoughtfully designed, as Mr. Sept testified. It improves the side yard setback condition. It fits within all the other bulk variance requirements and stays within the maximum square footage zone. I believe it fits within the neighborhood and is a modest encroachment on the habitable floor ratio. And so I'm in support of this application.
I concur.
Would anyone else like to make a statement or make a motion regarding this application?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Beer.
Block 1605, Lot 28, 122 Fellsworth Drive, application number 2023-32-V, 122 Fellsworth Drive LLC. As was testified today, the house is within all requirements except for the floor area ratio. It's only a minor violation, 3.6%. The house fits in with the neighborhood, which is being rebuilt rapidly, and I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Beer,
Seconded.
second by Mr. Butani.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Mr. Butani?
Yes.
Mr. Nardone?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Affronti?
Yes.
And Ms. Vass?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Ms. Khan, will you please call the next application?
Block 4301, Lot 24, 68 Irving Avenue, application number 2023-19-V, Fabiano de Oliveira. Applicant seeks approval for a second floor and rear addition in violation of the following sections: 170-99C2, front yard setback, 40 feet required, 26.42 feet proposed, existing, 13.6 feet, variance requested. 170-99C3, right side yard setbacks, and 10 feet required, 6.42 feet proposed, 3.6 feet, variance requested. 170-99C3, left side yard setback, 10 feet required, 6.01 proposed, existing, 3.99 feet, variance requested. 170-99C3, aggregate side yard, 30% required, 24.5% proposed, 5.5% variance requested. 170-87C4, habitable floor ratio, 30% allowed, 45.4% proposed, 15.4% variance requested.
Hi. First, there we go. Thank you so much. Good evening. Okay, so what we are, we're here today to seek a
We have to
variances.
swear you in first.
Right.
Yes,
Swear the testimony given this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Right, give again, your full name for the record.
Daniel Dubinet.
And are you Mr. De Oliveira? Yes. And will you be testifying also?
Great.
Offering as an expert?
I'm sorry?
Are you offering testimony as an expert?
Yes, a licensed architect. I don't know if you want my credentials.
Briefly.
Yeah? Okay. Syracuse University undergraduate degree, NGIT master's degree of architecture. Got my license in 2001, and I've been practicing residential architecture for, I can't believe it, it's over 20 years. Primarily in this area. I've testified before this board before, and my license is current and in effect.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or objections? Then we can accept you as an expert in the field of architecture.
Thanks. So basically, we have an existing home. It's located at 68 Irving Avenue. It's in the R4 zone. It's 3-bedroom, 1-bath, center hall colonial. And we're proposing to do an addition to the rear of the property, a 2-story addition, to be able to add a mudroom, a larger kitchen, and expand the family room on the first floor. And on the second floor, to be able to give them an additional bedroom, bathroom, and closets. They currently live at the house for the past 2 years or so, have 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl, and of course, mom and dad, and so they need some additional space. There are 5 variances associated with this application. It sounded like a lot. 4 of them all have to do with existing nonconformities that exist today. We're not making them any worse, but again, they're all related to the side yard setbacks. I'll run through them all, but basically it's a front yard setbacks, existing nonconforming. We're not changing it, but since it's existing, and I'll show you the architecture, we want to add like a pretty roof peak on the front of the house for curb appeal, so that triggers the front yard variance, although it doesn't. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Dubonnet, on the zoning table on the plans, it says that the front yard setback is changing by a foot.
Interesting. Thank you for calling that out, because the survey, if I could get you to the survey. So the survey says 27.42, but it was measured to the existing first floor, and there's this 1-foot existing second floor overhang. So the zoning officers had caught that. So although the surveyor measured to not the overhang, so that foot is existing, and I'll show you some photographs of the existing overhang. So thank you for that. And then in terms of the other variances, we have side yard setback. Existing house is basically 6 feet on the left, 6.42 on the right. They're going to stay. And then, of course, it's the aggregates.
Excuse me, the right yard is also existing, the right
Yes, 6.42?
Right, okay, so they're all existing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those four are all existing nonconformities. The lot is 50 feet wide. In the R4, the minimum requirement is 75 feet, so it's 25 feet deficient in the width. Also, so the final variance, the fifth variance, is probably the one to talk about the most, which is the floor area ratio. So required is 30%, and we're seeking 45.4, and the numbers are, so the existing house is about 1,500 square feet, not including the garage, of course, and the maximum allowed for this lot size is 1,700. We are proposing a house that's 2,592. And I'll show you the plans. I think it's a modest, we'll look at the plans, it's a very modest expansion, but the numbers are great because the lot is undersized. I believe for the R4, it's got to be 9,375, and our lot size is 5,711. So let me take you through very quickly the plans. The shaded area is the area of the addition in the rear. Sorry. Okay. So this, if you could see on the TV, I don't know if you can see that far. But there's an existing family room. We're going to expand that about 8.5 feet towards the rear to give about a 14 by 18-foot family room. We'll add a mudroom to the rear. And the family was already offset about 9.5 inches on the left side, so we're going to maintain that line. And then we'd like to add a small mudroom, powder room, which there is no powder room on the first floor. Expand the kitchen, and we'll utilize the dining area as for breakfast and dining. So a modest expansion, I think, to the first floor. And on the second floor, it's a bedroom, closets, and master bath with a small laundry room on the second floor. And what I did was pull in the right side, so it's 6.42 on the first floor, and on the second floor, we pulled it in so to relieve the side yard setbacks. Sorry. Well, one of the things we talk about when we talk about the FAR is the scale and the massing of the home. So the existing center hall is going to remain. We're going to do this addition on the back, and I think through, I'll show you some of these renderings, but through the use of roof lines and massing and scale, I think I've broken it down so it certainly doesn't appear very large in nature. The height, we'll be increasing the height, 27 feet. We're going to go to 30 feet tall in the rear. And so you can see some of the perspectives. This is the front. So the garage remains, all the bedrooms in the front of the house remain. And then I'm extending the garage on the right side here. And I pushed the second floor in so I get a little roof line. I had the opportunity to speak to the neighbor who's adjacent to this home. And the only thing that he talked about, he had no problem with it, he asked if I could eliminate the window in the master bathroom facing his house. So I think that's great for both neighbors. Let me just show you the
We have to mark that exhibit. Needs to be a colorized version of one of your
This actually, you don't have this. I don't think you have this drawing. So it's on the, I could email it to you?
Yeah, but we have to mark it. So
Oh,
which-
sure.
Which sheet is it?
Let's call it A1?
That's not what I'm asking. It's one of the sheets in your plans that you submitted, isn't it?
This one, no.
Oh, it's not,
That's
okay.
new, But the other one was colorized also.
Yes.
So anything that's different than what we have.
Yeah, it's one file with, I think, 5 slides. This sheet you do not have, so I don't know if you want to
No,
mark.
the entire file would be Exhibit A1, and this page we don't have, and this
Right.
is which page in the packet?
Sorry. I think this is the third. So we got plans. Yeah, this is the third sheet.
If you scroll to the right, I think there was the information as to the preparation of the plans, who prepared it, et cetera, the date.
Oh, yes, that would be myself.
There you go. So what does that information show? What's the date on the plans?
9/12/2023.
And that shows four, what would you say, four elevations of the house?
Perspective elevations of the house. And what I really wanted to show you is that through the use of roof lines and clever architectural elements, I was able to, I think, minimize the mass and scale. Of course, when we talk about FAR, it's like, is it appropriate for the neighborhood? Is it going to cause any negative impact to certainly the adjacent neighbors or the people in the rear yard? And so I'd like to show you some further exhibits, just to give you a little bearing on the context of the area. So this is photographs that I took,
You have that?
plus some Google images. They accurately depict the property as it is today. And what was,
Again, we have to mark that. That will be A2. It's a sheet showing four photographs
yes.
of the property in the area.
Yeah, 2 photographs that I took myself and 2 Google Earth images of the streetscape. So what we're seeing at the top left, the yellow, I messed that up. The yellow house is 68 Irving, Fabiano's house. To the left is a renovated home. It seems like there's some adequate open air space between the two. You can see a little bit of the, oh my God. You see a little bit of the family room in the back that steps in a little bit. In this photograph, you can see that 1 foot overhang in the front. That wasn't picked up on the survey. Top right, adjacent neighbor to the right. So basically, similar scale, size, massing exists. Interesting about the streetscape. Oh my God, this is so hard. Let's see. Okay. That's the 68 Irving. So there's been additions, renovations to the homes on the, certainly on the right side, something very similar with additions to the rear. On the left, obviously, a little bit larger lot, also similar size addition to the rear. Another vantage point. 68 Irving, and then the adjacent neighbor. So our addition is going to go out equal with the gentleman, or the home on the right, in 2 stories. And the left, same thing. We'll be going back as far as them. So much easier when we're zooming. Okay, so then I took these photographs and we did a 3-dimensional rendering of the house to try to show you how it'll fit into the streetscape. So there she is. The only thing that we did to change the front was we added this beautiful front porch, which of course promotes a certain kind of community and safety and aesthetic. So it's charming for the house, but also beautiful for the streetscape. And the only thing we did to the front, which triggers that front yard variance, is we created that peak in the front, which I think gives it a little updated look. And then on
Is
the,
that a different set of photographs?
yes,
All right, so that'll be A3, and that's 4 color photographs?
yes,
And that has a rendering of the proposed home imposed on it?
yes.
All of these exhibits you have to provide to Ms. Hollis. For the record?
Okay. I'm sorry? Thank you. This photograph, this image shows how it relates to the adjacent neighbor on the left. So again, I think it fits, it works. And then, getting there, sorry guys. Then we took our Google Images, wherever you are, and we kind of mapped our addition with the home, so you can see it from an aerial view that the massing works. So obviously, we looked at many different options. There was no way to expand this house without variance. We have 200 square feet left to go. And of course, this would be great for the De Oliveras to be able to raise their children here. And obviously, I don't need to really talk too much about it, but if we squeezed in our side yard setbacks, we come up with a different scenario that may be allowed us to increase the FAR, but we figured that we wanted to maintain the rear yard. So that's, I think, a really strong positive aspect to this application, that maybe some of the design alternatives that could be done wouldn't be so good for the neighbors in the rear. Again, the lot size is undersized lot. The lot width is undersized. 4 of the 5 variances are existing non-conforming. And I believe that the FAR could be accepted here because I think the property can handle the additional mass in the way that it was designed. I think it works well. And no trees will come down as a result of this. And I don't see any real negative impact to the streetscape of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for Mr. Duvenet? Okay. Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay. Mr. De Oliveira, are you testifying as well?
Only if you need them.
Well, that's,
So I guess he's here, obviously, in case there were some questions I couldn't answer.
it's not up to us if you want to testify, if there's
Oh, I
something
don't think
you
he
want
wants to
put on
talk
the
at all.
record. Okay, then that's,
I just went to watch it.
Okay.
First time, so
that's fine. Okay, would anyone in the public like to make a statement about this application? Would anyone on the board like to make a statement about this application?
I'll make a statement or comment. First, I'll say, I appreciate what you've done with the design, the attempt to limit the massing. And I think I could speak for the board, we're sensitive on small lots. Unfortunately, we're doing a lot that's only, 61% of the required area, and now we've shot up to 15.4% over in the habitable floor area ratio. And that's, I'm finding troublesome. I'm having trouble swallowing all of that. Your area's not bad, but it's just such a small lot. I'm just afraid it's just too big a house for the lot. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion.
You beat me to it. I actually agree. The lot is 5,700 square feet, and the house size will be 2,500 square feet. So I believe that the massing is very large. The neighbor to the right, 70 Irving, their lot size is 8,900 square feet. And I think their house is about 1,700 square feet. I'm not sure. That's what I think it is. I just think that it's very large for the size of the property.
Yeah, I would love to hear a little bit more comments. Obviously, based on, I guess, obviously, we'd like the opportunity to be able to expand this house and find the magic number that make it work, of course. I think the idea is to expand it and take a look at, which we've done already, take a look at trimming fat. We've actually made an application before, and when you had the opportunity to look at the numbers, not so much the architecture, but the numbers look big, but certainly when you look at it in relationship to the streetscape and the other houses that have the massing, didn't seem that bad. But obviously, we want to get a house, an addition for them. So if there's no other comments, obviously, I would like to think about amending it and coming back again?
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off of those comments from my colleagues, but when you showed the superimposed version of it on one of your exhibits, it looks less offensive from the left side to me, and I'm probably more concerned about the right. It seems like a little too dense for, a little too close to the house to the right, so.
Right, right. It is obviously 25 foot less than the required width, so we're struggling. So the alternative, which it's crazy, but if obviously, right now, I know the zoning is going to change. But as of right now, like if we bring it in 4 feet on both sides, we could do something kind of that might give them even more space, which won't be attractive. But I want to, obviously, an application that the board would feel good about and that they would like to live in as well. So we wouldn't want to create like this big shoebox in the back either. Yeah, so I guess I'll, obviously.
Daniel, let me help you out a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a little painful here.
It is.
So, put together a tax map
Yes,
and show the property in question, which is yours,
yes,
how many square feet you have versus what you proposed. Do that for all the surrounding houses in the same zone on the block, like the prior applicant did, showing pictures of the house and any variances that we may have approved in the past. So it gives the board a visual on what the existing conditions out there are and versus what has and hasn't been approved, neighborhood in transition. And when you go to design your house and you're looking to trim it, you're trimming it so that it fits in with what's existing there in the neighborhood. You showed us nothing of what's existing in the neighborhood to give this board a relation to what's out there. Nothing. So I'm going to help you out here. Do that so that when you're redesigning with your client, you're going to get something that, forget about the existing non-conforming, but when you're going for your habitable floor ratio, you're more in line with what's actually out there and more in line with the neighborhood.
right.
And as you're aware, we're concerned about the massing, obviously, with the ratio, but we're also concerned, as you spoke about the streetscape. So I think we understand the nature, how undersized this lot is. I think, I can't give numbers at this point, because again, as Mr. Nardone said, we need to see what you're proposing in relation to what's in the neighborhood. But we'd probably would be willing to trade off a little bit in the rear to make it fit better in the neighborhood.
Right. It's interesting. I'm happy to do that, and I obviously want a unanimous yes. But certainly, we're not going any further than the neighbor to the right and/or to the left, and we've maintained this open and airspace. So I think it's a numbers thing, so obviously.
You got to look at it and you got to work it out.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, so you probably want to.
Yeah,
adjust, correct?
Yes. thank
Okay,
you.
Ms. Hollis, when can they come back? Do we have room in October?
We can. The only thing is, Mr. Dubonnet, is if you can get revised plans over to the zoning office by September 29th, would be your deadline.
I'll try
to
that
meet
deadline.
the October date. Otherwise, you're looking at coming back to the board on November 28th.
Okay, so if I can hit the September 29th, we'll be here. What date?
October 24th.
We have a meeting October 24th.
Okay,
A little over a month.
right.
No pressure to get it done.
No pressure, get it done, make them happy. It's a balance, obviously.
Right.
Make you happy, make you.
So
All
would
right.
you like to be adjourned to the October meeting or the November?
I'll be shoot for October. If we don't make it, then we can let you know, obviously.
No, what we're going to do now is adjourn it on the record. So
Right, we
you
need
have
to
to give the
know.
board a definitive date as to when you're coming back.
If not, you're going to have to renotice.
Right.
Let's go to I'll make the date, 29th September.
All right, so this application is going to be adjourned to the next meeting scheduled for Tuesday, October 24th at 7 PM. No
And
further notice is
will
required.
be required.
Is there a magic number in terms of percentages
Not at this point, no.
Do the homework.
of the homes around the neighborhood?
Yep, I'll give you the roadmap.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Ms. Khan, please call the next application.
Block 1704, Lot 1989, East McClellan Avenue, application number 2023-25-V, Gary and Doris Tafaro. Applicant seeks approval for a two-car garage in violation of the following section: 170-87E1A, accessory building height 13 feet allowed, 20 feet proposed, 7 feet variance requested.
And, okay, and I'll, if you want to slide over, I'll note for the record that Mr. Beer is recusing himself for this application. Did you read? Yeah. Okay. Are you the Tafaros?
Yes.
Great.
Hi, I'm Gary Tafaro. This is Doris. Been a resident for 30 years.
We're going to swear you in
Okay,
first.
sorry.
Are you both going to speak to us?
Excuse me?
Are you both going to talk?
No, just me, probably.
Just you, all right, raise your right hand. You swear the testimony given this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Now, give us your full name for the record.
Gary Tafaro.
Yeah, well, you can stay.
What's going on there?
I can't see this. Hold on. Yeah.
This is our first meeting back in person with the new technology, so we're all adapting together. I appreciate everybody's patience.
I didn't know we were doing that.
We don't have anything else. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Well, we've been in town for 30 years. Our existing garage is a single-car detached garage. Sits in the back. And we're looking to expand it to a two-car. And because we have 3 kids, gonna have 5 drivers, give us more driveway space, storage, parking, all the above. And what we're looking to do is remove the existing garage and push it back a little further into the yard, about 10 feet. Right now, it's about 3.5 feet from the neighbor's property, but we're going to take the new garage and conform it to the 5 feet setback, so we'll rectify that. And what else?
You mean the driveways on the neighbors?
Well, as you can see, on the right side of that, I'll get up.
I have it here.
Okay. The existing garage, there was a not showing it, that's where the new proposed garage would be. But there's a plan that shows an overlay of the existing one. Right there, it says 3.5 feet non-conforming. And we're looking to take that, like here. We'll move this to 5 feet, and we're going to take the garage and move it back to 5 feet in the back and conform that way. So the height variance that we're looking for is so I have headroom, and aesthetically, if you see pictures of my house, it's like Victorian, it has peaks. We don't want it to look ugly, we want it to look nice, conform to the house we have, the pitches that we have. and also giving us enough storage so I could stand up in there. Everything, right now I can't park a car in the garage. We have it's filled with our stuff. And I'm going to remove that shed, put this stuff from the shed and the garage and store it upstairs. And then I could also get two cars in the garage, and we'll have parking in front of the two spots as well for my kids. And what else? That's basically the gist of it. Unless there's any. And this is, I don't know if we didn't give this picture, but this is the back of our existing house, has that kind of pitch. So,
Okay.
so the new garage will be similar.
Here, can you pass that up here?
Yeah,
We
we have
can-
several copies. Give them, pass those on.
And we'll mark that also as Exhibit A1. Yeah, give one to Ms. Hollis, please. Yeah, here, thank you.
Like if you were looking from the garage to the back of the house, that's what you'd see. So we want something that'll be nice looking, not just an ugly building in the yard, you know? So that's why the pitch is
Right.
that way, and that's why, we require, the height.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
Is the area above the car storage area, that going to be a separate room?
It'll be a separate floor, yeah, for storage.
It'll have flooring, and
Yeah, it'll have flooring.
will it be open to the lower
No.
area and closed?
No,
out?
it'll be a floor up there for storage.
And how will access be to the,
Right now, I'm planning on pull-down steps like an attic. And then, you can see, I put like an access door on the side. This is gonna be outside somewhere, so I can hoist like bicycles up there and stuff like that. So I'm gonna configure that like, almost like a barn door or something to hoist stuff up into the second floor, so I don't have to push it through the pull-down steps at this point. But I want it to look nice and conform to my house the way it is,
So on the second floor, are you planning to put any plumbing, any
No.
other utilities or anything like that?
No, electric. Yeah, for
Lights.
lighting, yeah. Well, the house will probably have new electric in the garage. That's what the plan is right now. No plumbing is gonna go out there.
And I see in the map there are windows that you're planning to.
Yeah, there's gonna be windows. I'm gonna have a little dormers so I get some light in there and have it look nice and conforming. And the headroom on the edge of the garage will be maybe 5.5 feet, So that's why I put the little peak on the side, so if I put a door to store, I could be able to stand up, and pull the stuff in so I don't bang my head. So basically, maybe an attic fan and stuff like that, so I can pull the heat out of it and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Just one question.
So
Oh, sorry.
why not pull the garage forward and make the garage almost tandem? So you're too wide and maybe a car and a half deep, and it gives you storage in the back and you reduce the height. This is a tough application. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Is it?
Very tough. In my opinion, very tough. You're asking to blow past the 13 feet, go right up to 20. And we're basically putting a room up there, which although you're gonna use for storage, who knows what it's gonna be really used for in the future. And we've seen that. And it's a garage. It's a detached garage, and I don't understand if you're doing it for storage, why you can't pull the garage forward and make it a car and a half deep to give you storage in the back instead of going up.
Because that's giving us our parking for the kids too. Because when
But
that goes,
it's a two-car garage, right?
right, so we'll
Okay,
have
so you're
two
gonna park
cars.
two cars in there, right?
There's 5 of us.
Okay, so there's 2 cars in the garage. Stay with me.
Right.
Are you gonna lift them up?
No, then we'll have 2 cars parked in front of it.
Okay, so
And
you-
another car be parked. We can't do that now, really. Because I have a single, I park on one on side of it, my 2 kids park in the front. So we'll be able to get their cars up. My son's gonna be driving this year. So we'll be able to get us 2 cars in a garage, where we never were able to get cars in the garage before. Now we can get 2 behind it.
So it'd be a matter of convenience then, so that you don't have to shuffle cars, because you have a long driveway.
Yeah, because
So by
we get
pushing it up,
stacked.
because what you're saying is you'd be more stacked as opposed to side by side, but with 5 drivers, you're still stacking 1 car.
Right. We're
One
gonna
car would still have to
move
be
one.
shuffled.
Well, the ones that are in the garage will be, the ones we don't use the most, you know what I mean?
I'm just one person. That's just how I see it. It's tough.
I mean, there's a couple of houses in town with detached that are that tall. I mean, is it aesthetic or?
I just think for me, it's more use. This is a room above a garage, and bad things happen with rooms above garages. I'm just one person, just giving you my opinion. You're asking to blow past 13 feet.
Right.
This board, we take a lot of pool applications, cabanas, for 13 foot. Everybody's at 13 foot. I don't think I've seen one that go past 13 foot for a pool cabana for the same thing, for the same reason. Again, I'm just one person.
Well, I have a question. If that was attached but with a breezeway, then I'd conform to it being part of the house, right? Because there's a house in town that had that done. And there's a room above the garage, 3-car garage, I have a picture of it. And all there is it was approved, is just a little breezeway that connected the two, just a roof. And it's a monster garage. And it's a full second floor in it.
If it's part of the house, then it's part of the house. I don't know what that house is.
And we don't know when it was built to know if it,
Right.
This year. I have a picture of it, if you'd like to see it. I mean, there's a room up there. And it's just a matter of that roof that made it not need a variance. So
no, I understand what you're saying. Mr. Nardone asking the question and giving his opinion about your application. So, Mr. Affronti, you were going to ask a question also?
Yeah, maybe it's more of a comment, but it's hard to understand how this might affect your surrounding neighbors. It would be helpful if we had maybe pictures of what it looks like in that back corner on the other side of the fence, or maybe the house behind you as well. Because I just want to get a sense of how much this height might overpower surrounding property. And
Your next door neighbor and your rear neighbor.
yeah,
Yeah, there should be a picture of the existing garage that's there now. It's basically going to look like that, only 2-car garage. The roof isn't going to go real high. The roof line's going to be basically the way the old one is.
These pictures you guys should have.
Disconnecting. See the shot of the garage?
yeah, I have that. I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's the
back
existing-
right, on the other side of the fence. Is that just a tree there? What does the neighbor have back there?
Well, it's just a yard.
Yeah.
It's just a yard back there. So it's all backed up to their yards, and they don't have a problem with it. Basically, I'm going to pull the garage, give them more room away from there, because right now it's 3.5 feet, and I'm going to give the 5 feet, and I'm going to get rid of the shed and just make that part of the garage. And it's just to maintain basically that roof line that you see on the 1-car garage, only 2-car garage, so it's going to go up higher.
Yeah.
Just one more comment.
Sure.
You have this garage being 30 foot deep. Most garages are 20 foot deep. So
Right.
you already have an additional 10 foot.
Right, that's to put additional storage, I have it.
All right, so now we have additional storage. So now we've established that we have a car,
Right,
20 feet. Additional storage, 10 foot, and a hole upstairs.
right, the 10-foot is for like workbench. I have a 4-wheeler that I have to fit in there, and just stuff that I have in the garage now, than the 1-car. That's what's taking up all my space. Bicycles, all that kind of stuff is got to fit in front of the cars that I have. So I figured enough room in front of the car to use for everything that's coming out of the shed, and everything else for storage goes upstairs.
If we were to approve this application, would you be willing to enter into a deed restriction that would prevent this from ever being livable, habitable space?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I don't plan on putting utilities in it.
What's the height from the floor to the ceiling? in the-
Of which floor?
Above the garage?
To the peak,
Yeah.
it would be, the total of the building would be about 20 feet, and the first floor is 8 feet, 9 feet, like 10, about 11 feet, 10, 11, 10 feet.
10
To the
feet?
peak, and then it starts coming down, so then I gotta put the joist ties in. So the joist ties are probably just over your head, once you build it. So it's just the peak that's the tall part, and then it starts coming down.
All right. Does anyone in the public have any questions about this application? Does anyone in the public want to make a statement about this application? Because I think it would be helpful for you to hear from the board as to where we are here. So would anyone like to make a statement about this application?
Yeah, again, it's just like hard for me to visualize, like, to have an aerial or something that like would give better sense and of like how this height will appear up against your surrounding properties would just help me a lot to, considering the height variance. But also, I think Mr. Nardone made some good points. If you have a shed behind the garage that, maybe there's just extra space back there to just push this back instead of up higher. So,
Well, the whole thing is going back.
Yeah.
As far as I could. Just so it's gonna be further from the street. And I'm gonna get rid of
Okay.
the shed too, so you're not even gonna really see it from the back. I mean, from the front as much as you do now. And those are all, those are the corners of everybody's yard is back there. They're pretty deep lots, a 200-foot deep lot. So that's the back corner of everybody's property. And I talked to them, they don't have problems with it. And the height of the roof line at that point is about the same where it is now. The only thing is it's stretching longer into my yard.
yeah. I'm seeing now, like, it does go back to like where that existing shed is.
It would start around where the window is on that garage.
Yeah.
The existing one, so that's where the start of the garage doors would be.
My concern isn't the placement of the garage, it's the height, which is the variance you're seeking. And as you know, you're familiar with the town, we don't have many, if more than a few, two-story garages. As Mr. Nardone said, that's not something that we do often in this town, and I agree with Mr. Nardone, I would much prefer a deeper garage that gives you the first floor storage than to give this height variance.
Yeah, if we did that, I probably wouldn't do it, because it wouldn't give me what I needed. It's gonna take up more spots, to park. Even if I made it longer, I'm not gonna get two cars in a row in a garage. It's just gonna take up more of the driveway space. And yeah, aesthetically, I want it to look right. I mean, I'm not gonna take the roof, that'll look horrible. I'm not gonna take the roof down. It just won't look right to have, I've seen a couple of flat roof houses, they're just terrible looking. And there is maybe half a dozen, two-story detached garages in town. Some are old, some are newer. I have a picture of that one that I was telling you, it's a giant detached garage. I could
But
show
there's
you.
also a difference between a pitched roof and a peak of, that's 20 feet high.
Did you have that? Where's the pictures of that?
Make a restriction.
Do you want to see a picture of the one that
So-
was done this year?
I'm pretty, I think you know where I stand.
I have a question. Over here, hi. I totally understand what you're trying to do. I do understand. And I'm also having trouble envisioning it. I think it's going to look massive, a two-car garage, 20 feet high. I think it's going to look tremendous. So I'm wondering, is there something else that you can think of that might be a better alternative than to building it 20 feet high? Like, is there another way? There's got to be another thing that you can think of and come back that might be better, to sort of take what you want to do and what the board is generally thinking and maybe marry the two and come up with sort of a compromise. Because I do understand your point, but I also understand where we're coming from, is that it's big and we don't really see a lot of that in town.
Is it the height that's the
It's
big
the
part or
height.
the floor area?
It's the height, and it's also a two-car garage, so it's going to basically look like a little mini house.
Right.
So if what they're saying, you want me to make it bigger?
If you,
what
if you
Mr. Nardone was
build
saying?
back, people aren't going to, from the street, you're not going to see how deep the garage would be. And so from the streetscape, it won't look as large as it is. We're concerned about, you're here for the height variance, so
Yeah.
we're looking at the entire structure.
Mhm.
But the roof and the square footage together from the front, it's going to look very large. So something with a lower roof would not look as massive.
I think it would, see, right now,
Come back with a drawing of what it would look like, or maybe.
but then I would have
adjust
to
it
go for a
little bit.
lesser variance, but I mean, having a 13-foot roof isn't gonna really do much of anything for me. See, right now, if you look
Well,
at
if
the
you're
picture.
if you're building 13 feet, you don't need a variance.
Right.
If you're going something lower than 20 feet,
See, from the
that would be a
street,
smaller variance.
from the street, the other car garage is gonna be hardly seen, because it's behind my house. See, right now, you see the one, and it's also gonna go over a bit.
Right.
You know,
I-
because-
No, and we understand it's going to move a foot and a half, but it's also going to go, the roof is going to be much higher.
Right,
I don't think we have a problem with the garage
Mhm.
itself. It's the height.
right.
So if you wanted to build a two-car garage 30-foot long,
If you wanted to build a garage, 30-foot long, 2-foot, it sounds like the board's okay with that. It's the height that's the issue. So your storage, what you claim that you want to use for
Yeah,
storage, that's.
100%.
I'm reading that that's the issue. So if you
Right.
revised the plans and you came back with a, nobody wants to deny you a two-car garage.
Yeah.
Get it. 30-foot deep, got it. I think it's the height. I think that's what I'm hearing from the board, that
Right.
that's where we're hung up.
Right.
And that's where I was leading with my questions earlier too, that, and you mentioned that you needed the height to be standing up and all that, right? I mean, it's valid, but at the middle, you're having 10 and a half feet, right? That's like a room. So to Mr. Nardon's point
Yeah, it
earlier,
is.
we are not, we are looking at things which can be, how it is used, we don't know, right, once it is done. And plus, it's massive, as the other board members said.
Right, it's just a matter of I gotta get a full car garage full of storage stuff.
No, you need to do something that's functional for you,
Yeah.
but I think what you're hearing from the board is that we're not comfortable with the design as currently planned. And the options are for you to either adjourn it and decide if you want to come back with something different, or have us vote. But I think the vote is not going to go the way you want, and then it's harder for you to come back to us.
But are you denying the second floor altogether, or the height of it?
I think what she's saying is that if we vote, it's not going to pass.
Right.
So what you may want to do is adjourn it, talk it over. If you decide to come back and scale the project down, then we're going to hear the application, the modified application. And you don't have to repost all the
Right.
notice. Because once we vote, it's going to be much harder for you to bring this
I
application
understand.
before the board. So,
If you come back with a 13-foot roof, you don't
Yeah,
need to,
you don't
if you
need
don't,
to
you
come
don't need to come back to us.
Right.
If you come back with a 14 or a 15-foot roof, then you need to come back to us. But again, that's something lower, maybe it looks different, and we would, I don't know, we'd have to see it. But
So-
that might, but you hear several board members saying that we're concerned about the height.
So there's not a height that would be approved until you see it, if you see the design. Like, it's not a say, like, okay, we feel more comfortable with this height
no, we can't tell you that.
until you see pictures of it.
But I don't think that we've approved many that go over any height, to be honest with you. If you go back and you go online and
Right.
you look through all the resolutions we've approved, houses and garages and pool houses, you're going to be very pressed, extremely pressed to find one that we've approved that breaches the height.
Can I just show
No,
one
I
picture?
don't want to say it because I don't know what the parameters are with that.
The other
I've been
thing
on
is if you make this, I'm sorry, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, I've been on this board 12 years and I don't ever recall approving one in my 12 years on this board.
Right.
And if you make this part of the house, I know you spoke about some other
Yeah, yeah.
property, then you're getting into side yard setback issues and rear yard setback issues, and that creates other issues for you.
Yeah, it was just an example of something that
No,
was
we
approved
understand.
this year.
No, and
That's twice the
we're
size
trying-
of what I'm doing.
you need to build something that works for you and your
Yeah.
family, and so you need to, in my opinion, you need to go back and think about this.
Okay.
So would you like to do that? To
Revise
adjourn it?
It's worth a try, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Hollis, will you explain the timing parameters?
Yes, you'd have to get some revised plans back to the zoning department no later than September 29th in order to make the date of October 24th. Would that work for you?
What's that? Well, I'd have to make sure the architects would redraw it.
why don't you kick it to one
To
more
the
month?
November,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
It's probably-
That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah.
Do some kind of thing about it.
Yeah. So we can adjourn this to Tuesday, November 28th at 7 PM.
And no further notice will be required, so you can just come back.
Very good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's it, thank you.
Can I just say one thing? We have a garage, and above it, we have a loft inside the garage, and it's just open to the entire garage. So it's not another room, it's just, the ceiling is just lower, and then we have a ladder, and we put all of our stuff up top, like our cushions and everything, so, and it works, we can put a ton of stuff up there, so it's just, like, here's the roof, and then there's a really nice sized loft, and we put everything up there. Just a thought. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to note for the record that Mr. Beer has rejoined us. Ms. Khan, please call the next application.
Let's see. Okay. Block 4500, Lot 16, 37 Manor Road, application number 2023-31-V, NNG Real Property 1 LLC. Or is that I? Application seeks approval to construct a new single-family residence in violation of the following sections. 170-99C2, front yard setback, 40 feet required, 36.6 feet proposed, 3.4 feet variance requested. 170-99C4, rear yard setback, 35 feet required, 15.9 feet proposed, 19.1 feet variance requested. 170-87C3, CC4, habitable floor ratio, 30% allowed, 34.9% proposed, 4.9% variance requested.
Thank you.
I'm versatile, I can adapt. Good evening, Madam Chairwoman,
Thank you.
members of the board, John Barbarella on behalf of the applicant. I have Amon Sadar to my right, the architect. Could he be sworn, and then I will give his qualifications.
Thank you.
Could we have the speller in your last name?
S-E-D-R-A?
SEDRA.
I got it right. How did I
Do you
do that? Oh, mine?
Yes.
Oh, I thought, mine's
That's why I was
easy.
clarifying.
You know, like Vinnie Barbarino, B-A-R-B-A-R-U-L-A.
B-A-R-B?
B-A-R again, U-L-A. 2 bars and a ULA. Barbarula.
Barbarella.
B-A-R-B-A-R-U-L-A. First name is John.
That I understood.
Thank you.
All right, so let's swear to witness and raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, and again, your full name for the record?
My full name is Ayman, last name is Sedra, S-E-D-R-A.
Mr. Sedra, would you please give the board the benefit of your education, please?
I graduated from architecture department,
Oh, okay.
faculty
I prefer standing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Faculty of Engineering in Egypt, and I have a license. I am a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey since 2016, and I testify in front of this board and some other board in New Jersey.
Madam Chairwoman, I'd like to submit Mr. Sadar as a expert in architecture, please.
And your license is still
Is
current and
still
in good
current.
standing.
Still current.
Does anybody have any questions or objections? Then we can accept you as an expert in the
Sure.
field of architecture.
So now we
Sure.
go high tech. Mrs. Sadar, these plans were drawn in accordance with your office, is that correct?
Correct, but this is the site plans.
Okay, we're going to get to the architectural.
So we'll get to the architecture. So this is a design for a brand-new single-family house on this lot. I'm going to start explaining the floor plans for this building. I'm going to start with the next sheet, which shows the first and second floor. This house has some modern aspect, as we all see now in Livingston. There is some houses where you see a traditional look from the outside, and some modern designs as well with the fiber cement panels. We'll get to that when we get to the exterior. But looking at the first floor consists of entry porch at the front. Where's the pointer? Where we see the entry here, we have the front entry, we have the front porch, and we enter the house. We have a two-story entry foyer, and as we all see in Livingston, the guest bedroom in this floor as well, that's equipped with the bathroom and a closet. Moving toward the rear of the house, we'll see on the left side the dining room, and the rear of the house, we'll see the family rooms, the kitchens, and also we have a pantry and a mudroom. Also, in this level, we have one-car garage. Moving up to the second floor, we have 3 bedrooms and the master suite, so 4 bedrooms altogether on the second floor. The 3 bedrooms, they're equipped with 2 bathrooms, and the master suite, the master bedroom suite, has a master bathroom and a walk-in closet. And also on this level, we have a laundry room. Going down to the basement level, which is the previous sheet, in the basement, we will see another bedroom with an egress access, a gym, storage, bathroom, a rec room, and a media room, and also the mechanical room. So this is the floor plans that shows the layout of the house. Going on the area, the first floor area, the diagram on the left is the habitable floor area diagram that shows the area of the building. We have the first floor area is 1,361. The garage is 273 square feet. And the second floor area is 1,605. And the total area, habitable area for this building is 2,966. Moving to show you the outside of the building, as I said in the beginning, the building is a modern design, has a very shallow massing where we see the building height is 29 foot 6 inches on the left. And the town ordinance is 35, so we're 5 feet 6 inches below the town ordinance. And as you see with this modern design, the building is designed with hip roofs, where it's very shallow hip roof just to make the massing as low as we can get it. Also, we designed the corners of the building with the fiber cement boards. I have also some pictures I can share with you for similar houses in the area.
And these would be an exhibit since these are his photos? And you took these photos?
I took these photos today.
And these photos accurately depict the houses that you're going to testify about?
Yes. And the first two...
We'll mark this as Exhibit A1. Exhibit A1. Thank you.
The first 2 pictures, I have the addresses also next to the pictures. The first 2 pictures are located in R4 zone as well. These houses, they have some modern aspects where we see fiber cement panels on the corners of the buildings, and the windows will be in the center of the block. And also, we see some cedar panels as well, horizontal panels, either horizontal or vertical panels.
So those two, 79 and 5.
79
are
Fellswood
very, very
and
similar.
16 Park Drive. They're similar zone. The last one is R1 zone. It's a bigger house, but it has the same character of the design. The rest of the building, we were planning on designing it with the James Hardy vertical board and batten. Also, to show you, we have a rendering that shows the front. Oh, not that.
It goes the other way.
Is that the poster next
That's
to you
the
also?
poster, but we had it here as well, yeah.
Okay, so mark that as A2, please.
Oh, there you go. It finally went up.
Yeah.
He just wanted to take a little while to show us.
Yeah, so in this, as you see, these are the fiber cement panels, and these are the cedar horizontal board. We made them vertical here just to give the building some verticality because it's not a high building, it's just very shallow and high. That's it.
So we have any questions for the board?
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
Thank you so much.
Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay.
At this time, Ms. Chairwoman, I have Harry Tubell, the engineer and planner.
Thank you.
I can swear you in if you raise your right hand.
Sure.
You swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, give us your full name and spell your last name.
Sure, my address as well. Harry Tuvell, 629 Ridge Court, Ridgefield, New Jersey.
Can you spell your last name?
Tuvel.
Thank you.
Harry, could you give the board the benefit of your education and licensing, please?
Sure. I have bachelor's and master's of science degrees in civil engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and I have been a licensed professional engineer since 1981 and a licensed planner since about 1987.
And you testified before, I believe, this board and a number of boards throughout the state of New Jersey?
I've testified before many boards in Bergen, Hudson, and Passaic counties, but I think this might be my first time before Livingston.
You're kidding me. I thought you've been everywhere.
No, and I have, and I'll be back to the planning board. I've been working in Livingston for the last couple of years, but this is my first appearance before.
Welcome
And
to the zoning
hopefully
board.
not as the last. So Harry, so you've been accepted as an expert. I would ask, Mr. Chairman, if we would accept him
Does
both
anyone-
as engineering and planning.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections? Then we can accept you as an expert as often.
Thank you, Harry. Then you can go to the computer.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, so I'm going to go to my proposed plan. I click on that, right? Double click?
Yeah,
There, here we
you
go. Okay, so I prepared the plot and grading plan that you have before you, which shows the proposed house, the proposed dwelling on at 37 Manor Road, and this has been submitted as I've done with a number of other applications to your building department or zoning people. So most of my testimony this evening will be with regard to planning rather than engineering.
On an engineering basis, this is an odd-shaped lot, is that correct?
Yes, it's also a relatively flat lot. This is an irregularly shaped lot, and you'll notice that there's a sort of a triangle in the rear.
So in sticking with engineering,
Yes.
this is the reason that we have a bulk variance, a rear yard variance, because of the odd shape, basically a C2, C1 criteria.
That's correct, and also it is an undersized lot. It is a total of 8,488 square feet, whereas 9,375 square feet is required in the R4 zone. And again, this is a replacement house. We are not knocking down an existing home and building the very attractive home that Mr. Cedra has designed. But for that, we do need we are requiring an FAR variance, and we also are requiring a a rear yard variance, which is largely due to the irregular shape of the property. So the variances that we're seeking are under D4 for the increase in the permitted floor area ratio, and also under C1, where by reason of exceptional physical features affecting a specific piece of property, and also under C2 to grant a variance relating to a specific piece of property where the purposes of zoning would be advanced.
And this is a fully developed neighborhood.
This is a fully developed neighborhood, yes. So the two variances that we're seeking are the D4, the FAR variance, and the rear yard setback, where the minimum is 15.9. But I'm not, if you do, we show on the, you can see the minimum 15.9 as the minimum rear yard setback. However, if I measured along each corner, and if you do a measurement from the middle of the middle of the rear of the building to the property line, and if you call that an average, it's 42 feet of an average, even though there's a minimum of only 15. The average is about 42 feet, which exceeds, again, which exceeds your minimum of 35 feet.
But we
So
have to call
again,
out the variance because, as you see here, it's 15.9 at the closest
Yes.
area. And then, because it's an angle, we do see, we actually are going to have to use our math that we learned in grade school. As that angle goes up, the distance gets longer.
yes, that's
And
correct.
therefore, if we go 2 feet further into the house, we would be beyond the 16 feet, then 16, 18, 20, 30, 40 feet, as you said.
Yeah, that's correct. And again, this proposed new house is approximately situated in the same general area that the existing house was
And
located.
one of the factors here is we're not abutting a residential home, we're abutting a church.
That's true. The rear yard variance is largely and entirely, in my opinion, mitigated by the fact that we're not backing up against another residential property where you could say it might be close. We're backing up against the church parking lot.
Yeah, you're more familiar with that. It's the parking area, it's not even the building.
So getting to the positive and negative criteria, the positive criteria for an FAR variance is similar to a use variance for a conditional use. That is, that the property can reasonably accommodate any problem associated with the structure being larger than what the floor area ratio permits, which is actually not the case for this application. The lot is conforming with respect to front and side yards and, most importantly, building coverage. Again, the rear yard variance derives from the angle of the rear property line, and again, as I just said, it's mitigated by the fact that it's backing up against the parking lot on the adjacent parcel. And as I also said, the proposed development has a house situated in a similar configuration and position as the previous home. The C2 variance is known as the flexible C variance, in that the board has the discretion to balance the extent of the nonconformity that we're proposing and the extent of any negative impact. The balance here is that we have a mostly conforming house that meets the requirements of building coverage. The FAR variance is mitigated by the fact that height, front, side yard, building coverage, and habitable floor area requirements are met. That is that this is not too much house for this lot. It's in proportion to the size of the lot. I think the architect has done a very nice job of designing a home that's in proportion to this lot size. Under the negative criteria, I think that the board can grant this variance without substantial detriment to the public good. It will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan, and that the variance can be granted under both the D4 and C2 and C1 parts of the municipal land use law. So I feel that, as a planner, that we've met the proofs for the granting of the variances. They do not rise to a level which is substantially or otherwise detrimental, and that the proposed development is proportional, can be reasonably and comfortably accommodated on this site, and represents good planning. That's the extent of my testimony.
And you've been to this site a number of times?
I have.
And this particular house would fit in keeping with the nature and the character of the neighborhood and the plan.
Absolutely, yes.
And as we said, we have to call out that variance because of the 15.9, but as you can see from the diagram in front of you, the living area, the deck, you're going out completely away from that shortest part of the particular property. That's all we have with Harry. Madam Chairwoman, I submit them for any questions of the board.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
I have one question. How did you calculate the average established setback of 36.3?
I'm sorry?
How did you calculate the average established setback?
Yes, we actually did we had a surveyor go out there, and we actually have a plan. I have it here in my file where we did actual measurements of all the houses to establish that average front yard setback of 36.9 as the average. I have that as a, I have that plan if you'd like to see it.
That was part of his preparation for the drawing.
Understood.
It's not a submission.
It's not a submission. We actually had it done by a surveyor.
If you'd like that to be supplement the record, he can give you the calculations and submit it to you.
No, they're just...
Turn your microphone on.
Oh, sorry. The denial letter says you can't use the established front yard setback as there's no comparable homes to the left of yours.
Right, I think that's why they're seeking the 3.4-foot variance back to the 40. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, I think.
36.3 is the average established setback, and we're at 36.6. So it's about at the average setback.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
And again, and the maximum FAR that we're requesting is just to put on the record is 34.9%.
Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Do you have any
Well,
further
very, just very simply, it's a case where when you talk about the C variances, we have behind us a parking lot. So although it is asking you for a variance, as you can see, because of the particular shape, we have only one section that we have to ask for this variance. I think that in keeping with what the architect has shown you and what Harry as an engineer and planner has shown you, this house is very in keeping with the neighborhood, and it's not excessive in terms of the FAR ratio, and I ask for your approval. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anyone in the public like to make a statement about this application? Would anyone on the board like to make a statement about this application?
I will make a quick one. I think given the odd shape of the lot, I have to say this is a very good upgrade. The material and the details shown by the architect, it's definitely an upgrade in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Okay. I think it'll be a great addition to the neighborhood. There's a lot of new construction on that street, and I think it'll fit in perfectly with the other homes, and I think that you did a great job situating it on the house, on the lot, rather, and the fact that it backs up to a parking lot, it won't encroach into the neighbors or anything like that.
Thank you for your comments.
And I appreciate that the proposed dwelling is significantly under the max square footage that's allowed in this zone. So while you're seeking a 4.9% habitable floor ratio, again, the lot is undersized and very irregularly shaped.
And we're under the maximum habitable floor area.
Right. Would anyone like to make a motion on this application?
I can make it.
Thank you, Mr. Vitale.
Block 4500, Lot 16, 37 Manor Road, application number 2023-31V. There are 3 variances requested, and as the testimony described, and then the maps and the evidences show, the lot is an odd-shaped lot. There are situations where, for example, in the rear, where the triangular shape of the lot causes certain amount of variances that are required. Overall, it's an upgrade, and with that, I motion the board approves this application.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Mr. Affronti.
Mr. Nardone?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's me.
Mr. Bhuttani?
Yes.
Mr. Affronti?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Ms. Bass?
Yes.
Motion passes. Sorry about that.
I also would like to thank Andrew for his help. I was here with a board and an easel, and it was just so nice to have this nice, Livingston is high-tech.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Ms. Khan, please call the next application.
Block 700, Lot 52, 5 Blackstone Drive, application number 2023-34-V. Tony Melikathu Isaac.
Yeah.
Applicant seeks approval for a 1- and 2nd-story addition and deck in violation of the following sections. 170-97C2, front yard setback, 60 feet required, 35.8 proposed, existing, 24.2 feet variance requested. 170-97C3, left side yard setback, 15 feet required, 13.1 feet proposed, existing, 1.9 feet variance requested.
Mr. Isaac?
Hi.
Hello.
Testify?
Here, Paul.
I just swear you in. You raise your
course.
right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you give us your full name?
Sure. My first name is Tony. My middle name is Melikathu, Melakathu. My last name is Isaac, Issac.
And you're spelling it the same way it is on the application?
Yes.
Great. Mr. Isaac, why don't you tell us why you're here today?
Sure. So my family and I are looking to add an addition to our house. Right now, I believe there's a concern with regards to existing nonconformity. We're planning on expanding into adding a family room and adding on a 2nd floor above that. But the current issue, I think, is our house is too close to the neighbor's side, and because we're going straight back, and because of that, we're applying for a variance.
Thank you. And you're building straight up on top of your existing?
Straight up, yep.
First floor in the front and in the side yard, the left side yard?
Yes.
So you're not encroaching any further or exacerbating an existing condition on the property?
No.
Great. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Would anyone in the public like to make a statement about this application? Would anyone on the board like to make a statement about this application?
I guess just, these are pre-existing issues, but just for like the sake of the record, I think it's important to note that, we talk about the criteria for C variances. I mean, this is an odd-shaped lot, and just as shown by the fact that what currently exists there can handle, this type of development, like, I think that those criteria are met as well.
Thank you.
I actually have a quick question.
Sure. I actually have a quick question. Where's the garage?
So it is,
Looks like it's on the side, but I'm seeing.
it is on the side.
Bedrooms. On the main level?
So it is, if you're looking at this, gosh, I'll just get up.
Is this the right one? Or do you have a different one? This is the proposed?
You go down. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the mouse.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you. So it is, right here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right here. So this is Mount Pleasant over here.
Yeah.
And then you can, basically, we stand right here, you can look and see, anyone's familiar with Landmark Restaurant? That's where it is.
I'm just not finding it on the plan, I guess.
Is it existing now, the garage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right here.
I think it's-
Is it a garage you can pull in? Is it a garage you can pull in?
Just not seeing it on the
Yes.
plans.
Yeah. It's a two-car garage.
Main level framing shows bedrooms there.
So
Or
above.
is it the
it's-
lower level, is it a
so
lower level that's not shown on the plan?
There's a bedroom above the garage, but all that's existing.
You have your plans there? You have your plans there? Scroll up.
Sure.
Go.
Louis?
No? No, all right. Your plans don't show a garage, is what Mr. Beer is saying.
You guess that's the main level?
On the framing plan, the garage is next to existing bedroom 2.
So there is, the garage is, it's a split-level house. So the garage is next to the mudroom.
Right.
And then the basement's below the garage. And if you go up, you go to the first living area, and then if you go on top of that, there's a bedroom, like all the old bedrooms are, and one of the bedrooms is atop the garage.
Who's the architect? What? He's in the back right corner. He's saying another thing.
Yeah, if you look at the right side elevation, it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I can see that, so I guess that's.
Those are the existing bedrooms. That's the same.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion on this application?
Block 700, Lot 52, 5 Blackstone Drive, application number 2023-34-V, Tony Melikathu Isaac. This addition will go right over, exactly over the existing footprint, just going back. It will not be encroaching on any of the setbacks, and I think the design is really pretty. I think it'll look great, and it's in keeping with the neighborhood. And for those reasons, I make a motion that we approve this application.
And so it'll fit within the neighborhood and the streetscape,
Did I say that?
right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Beer.
Okay. Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Mr. Nardone?
Yes.
Mr. Buptani?
Yes.
Mr. Affronti?
Yes.
Ms. Vass?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Khan, call the last application, please.
Block 4700, Lot 30, 6 Hazelwood Avenue, application number 2023-30-V. Abhishek Gangwal. Applicant seeks approval for a new attached garage, deck, and right side and rear addition in violation of the following sections. 170-99C2, front yard setback, 40 feet required, 26.1 feet proposed, existing, 13.9 feet variance requested. 170-99C3, right side yard setback, 10 feet required, 6.67 proposed, 3.33 feet variance requested. 170-99C3, left side yard setback, 10 feet required, 5.75 proposed, 4.25 feet variance requested. 170-99C3, aggregate side yard, 30% required, 24.7% proposed, 5.3% variance requested. Habitable floor ratio, 30% allowed, 43% proposed, and 13% variance requested.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Give us your full name.
Sure. My name is Abhishek Gangwal.
Okay, please tell us why you're here tonight.
Can I go over there?
Yes.
Good evening, board members. My name is Abhishek Gangwal, and my address is 6 Hazelwood Avenue, Livingston. My house is in R4, and I'm here for my expansion project. My lot is small and narrow. My wife's name is Naini Gangwal. We both are working parents, working from home. After COVID, I need to work 5 days from home. My wife has to work 3 days from home. And we have 2 kids. My son is in LHS, my daughter is in MPM. We have our old age parents, 75 year and above age. My wife's parents are also old. They want to stay with us. We don't have space, so we are adding a, additional room so that we can create a multi-generational house where my parents can stay with us and they can enjoy the life with their grandkids. So I'm here today. To discuss my home expansion project. I understand I'm requesting a lot of variance, but those variances are because of the hardship, because of my existing inefficient structure and a small narrow lot size. As a part of project, I currently have a detached garage towards the end of my property. How can I show that picture? Yeah. So if you see here, my current detached garage is too far because driveway is too big. So what I'm trying to do, that creates a health issue during the severe winter seasons when we park there and then come back here, or rainy like yesterday. So what we are doing, we are breaking this garage and bringing it front and making it attached to the property. That is requiring me front side setback. But actually front setback is already existing due to my current property. I am building my new garage from the 10 feet behind from my existing wall, the start of not the property, start of the building. But since I am attaching the garage, I am requesting this front side setback, which is due to the existing. Did I do something wrong?
No, she sneezed. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. So front setback variance we are requesting because of the existing building, existing property. Another setback we are requesting on the setback on the right, which is again due to the compliance code, because every garage has to be 12 feet due to the compliance. So if I'm just demolishing my existing garage and bringing it front and connecting, but since I'm going 12 feet wide to comply with the garage code, I will be requesting the side setback variance because of that reason. Because I have to comply with the garage code. which is 12 feet bare minimum. So that's why I am requesting that variance. After doing 2.5 years of the design planning, I come up with this efficient and simple plan, which will increase basically effective use of my property, my land. Currently, my coverage ratio is 48.2%. But after restructuring the structure and efficient planning, I'm bringing it down to 39 point something, which will increase the green area in my property, which will increase the backyard size so that more greener, more ecological. To meet my family basic requirements so that my parents can stay, my kids can get a proper space for their education, their online, we are using the land efficiently, effectively. So we are building the existing property from the back side. If you see here, this is my current deck. We are extending the current property. I'm just building a new, extending my living area to the deck area, which is again aligning to the wall of the existing house. I'm not, left side of the setback is already there. If you see my current property, the left side is already having, I think, 6 point something or 5.87, which is less than the required limit. So I already have left side of the setback. I'm just increasing, extending this wall and connecting to my kitchen wall. I'm not going beyond my kitchen. I'm not building anything above my kitchen area. I'm not building anything new above on this thing. I'm just building my new rooms and garage on my right side of the garage, right side of the driveway to make it more efficient planning. The beauty of the plan is it is neither impacting any neighborhood view, nor it is extending the existing footprint of the wall beyond current boundary of the property, current boundary of the existing structure. And it is fitting into the neighborhood equations, planning theme. So that's why I'm requesting a setback. I understand I'm requesting a habitual floor ratio, which is more like 42% or something. But the reason for that ratio request is because my lot size is too small, just a 7,100 square feet. But R4 is like 9,000 or some square feet is guideline. But we are still keeping the overall footprint is less than the 3220. I'm going up to, I think, 3,078 square feet only. And I'm building whatever is basic need for my family. Neither I'm building anything above my kitchen, nor I'm building anything about deck, the second floor. I'm just doing bare minimum, which is required for my house, for my family, so that my parents can come and stay with us. I can improve the effective utilization of my land and making sure that it fits into the neighborhood schemes. It not impact or cause any risk to my neighbor, nor interrupt their view, nor interrupt their sunlight. So that's why I'm requesting approval for these many variances because of the existing house, existing structure, and small size, small narrow lot. You can see this picture, even right side, I already have, this is the left side, I already have that variance. So I'm just extending that wall to make it a room. So I'm just extending this wall and making it room. And I'm making a structure here on my driveway by bringing my garage front and additional family room for my parents so that they can come and stay with us, and rooms above.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
Do I understand you to say that you're expanding the second floor so that it will be right above the existing first floor, but not any further?
Can you come again, sir?
How far out are you extending the second floor?
How far out I'm
Yeah,
extending?
to the rear. How far to the rear is the second floor expansion?
No, I'm just aligning to this wall, not going beyond this wall. Where you see this is my current end of the building wall. So I'm ending here only.
So you're bringing is that the garage?
So garage will be on front.
All right, that's not the garage, okay.
No,
So
so here there will be garage. You see this chimney,
I
sir?
understand this for the resolution.
You see this chimney, right? This
Yeah,
area,
it's
here
the-
there will be a garage and behind.
It's the rear yard expansion, I want to make sure we have it right. Because I have to write this up as a resolution of approval. If I get it wrong, you're going to have problems. So that's what, go back to the rear. Okay, so you're building out the rear of the house, both on the first and second floor, is that correct?
On the right side.
On the right side, which is where the deck is now?
No.
No?
Left side of this picture.
Okay.
The right side
So
of
you're
the
not building into the deck area?
I'm building, but only the first floor,
Only
not the
first
second floor.
Okay. And you're putting in a new deck?
I would like to, but if that is the concern, I'm okay and flexible on that. I can build a small porch or something so that we can have a nice coffee or something when our friends are there. So deck is not my necessary requirement. So if board has some objections on deck area, I can work it out that I'm okay to live without it.
Does anyone else have any questions for this witness?
I mean, so we're adding a 53-foot by 13-foot wide, two-story addition on one side, right?
On my driveway, yes, that
On
is
the driveway side, and that's replacing a smaller garage.
Yeah, so my existing garage is toward the
Right,
end of the
yeah.
property, which I'm demolishing, bringing it front, and I'm just building another room behind the garage.
And you're removing the existing shed also?
This, yes, I'm demolishing that.
Right.
So that my backyard will be little bigger, because right now, if you see, it's a very inefficient, means whatever is done by earlier owner is, I respect that, but it's not a simplified plan. So a lot of space are unused. If you see here, this complete area is unused, which we are not able to use it, and squirrels and all such things are causing. So we are just demolishing this garage, bringing it front and building a one room on first floor so that parents can come and stay with us and a room above.
Okay. I think what you're doing is making sense. I think you're using the land well and better. I think it's a good plan. My personal problem, I'd like to hear from the rest of my fellow board members, is you're at 43%. Once again, it's a very, very large overage. And everything stands on its own, but as you've heard, 3, 5, 6%, that's something we can understand and wrap around and get behind. Your lot is a little small, and we recognize that, which is why we do allow going over the habitable floor area ratio. But 13% over is a very large number, and I'm having trouble swallowing that. I mean, some of these additional rooms are, pretty large. The bedroom number 5 is 17 feet long by 12 feet wide. We all understand the modern difficulties, and we want to have parents and everything else, but that is, I don't know if it's really a hardship. It's the lot and the massing that's the hardship. It's not, I mean, it's great to have all the parents there, it's a wonderful thing if you can pull that off, but at 13%, it's really hard to, at least for me, to get my hands around it. So I'd like to hear from other people.
There's been some recent applications of similar, where it's a narrow lot, and they don't have the square footage, and they were looking for variances in the same percentage, and they had to scale the house back.
Yeah.
or redesign it.
Right. I'm personally, I understand the
Conceptually, it makes
additional increase in the left side yard setback because you're following the line of the house and it's a modest, it's a modest addition to the existing encroachment into the setback on the left side. And I even understand on the right side that you're stuck at the 6.67 feet setback on the right side because you need the width for the garage. And it is a better planning alternative and preferable for you to remove the shed and remove the standalone garage and pull that forward, as you said, for all the reasons you outlined. But I agree with Mr. Beer. Your property is undersized, and significantly undersized. It's about 75% of the standard lot size in the zone. And the house you're proposing, the habitable floor area, while it's under the 3,220 allowed in the zone, you're still, you're just under that at 3,078 square feet and seeking the 43% habitable floor ratio. And I think it might be a little too much house for this lot.
So the reason for making me this going so much space, few considerations. If you see here, I'm not building anything above my kitchen, which I could do. I'm not building anything above my first floor on the deck. I'm just extending my living area so that it will have at least a bare minimum space for 4 people or 6 people living in the house, right? So I'm not building anything on the second floor, this area. So I'm already considering that. Having a big number in terms of foot, which sir is trying to highlight, I am forced to build 12 feet wide because of the garage.
Right.
I cannot make it 10 feet, the town will not approve. So I have to make it 12 feet wide garage. And that's why I'm building my, the room above garage is 12 feet wide. If board allows me to build 10 feet, 9 feet garage, I will build only 9 feet. I'm just giving a random example.
No, again, I'm saying, I understand the 12-foot garage and understand the
So-
6.67 foot setback
Yeah.
on the side. I understand that, and to me, this is a desirable alternative. It's the total square footage which relates to the ratio.
So I would like to request you to understand my situation. I'm building a 12 feet wide garage and I'm just building one additional room on my first floor, which is not present, so that my parents can come and stay with us, my in-laws can come and stay with us. I'm not building anything else. On above that, I'm just building 2 rooms, which is the bare minimum requirement for 2 kids. That's why I'm requesting, and though the number looks very high, 13%, I do understand in terms of the percentage, but I'm still within the 30 to 20, and lot size is something which is beyond my control. It's just a 7,100, and I'm still keeping it, wherever I have space, I'm making considerations. I don't know, and this is my personal house. I'm not doing for business, or I'm not doing for selling to make a profit.
Right, no, and we understand that the way that our ordinances are set up is that there's this 2-pronged test. There's the square footage test and the habitable floor ratio test. And you have to satisfy both, or else you have to come to us as you're coming to us. So, I mean, I think it would be helpful for you to hear, you've heard from Mr. Beer and myself, I think, and I guess Mr. Nardone weighed in also, I think it'd be helpful for you to hear from the board, other members of the board, to see where we are. And then maybe that will help us figure out where to go.
So, can we look at the back again, please? I just want to understand it. So the garage is now going to be attached, and you're building out to the existing room that's there, right? Like when you build out, you're building out to that existing room that's already there?
So this garage, I'm demolishing, if you
Right.
see.
Right.
This is my garage, which
Right.
I'm demolishing and
You're
making
moving it
it
up front.
backyard, yeah.
And then behind the garage, you're adding a room, and that room will
I'm just
extend-
adding a one single room
Okay.
on the first floor. And on top of it, I'm adding 2 rooms because the one above the garage, one above the new room.
And they're both, and it's extending to where the room that's currently there, it's extending to the end of that room? in the
And
back?
I'm extending to this
That,
deck.
the ends of that.
So and the way I'm extending to keep it, my project very bare minimum because it's an expensive wall. So I'm just meeting this, aligning this wall and aligning my left side of the wall.
And you're,
I'm just boxing
you're
it.
just boxing it in, so, okay, and you're not going out any further
No,
than what's there?
no.
Okay.
But the following the line of the house makes it encroach a tiny bit more.
Yeah, so,
Like 5
so
inches, yeah.
the way at runtime I can think to reduce the percentage, especially which is the main concern, I have to build the 12-feet garage, which I cannot get away from it due to any XYZ reason, right? Then I have to knock it off 1 extra room that I'm trying to build above my 2nd floor, which will make, plan very unstructured and very inefficient. That's why, and I have 2 kids, so I definitely need room for them.
So one of the concerns that Mr. Beer raised, let me just translate differently, right? So I think what he said is, the bedroom 5, if you see that map, it's 17 foot deep. 12 foot, understood, you have to make it because you're aligning the garage and everything, right? Those are the types of considerations he's pointing it out, and Ms. Fass as well, is that adds to HBR, habitable floor area, HFR.
Yes.
So I think that's 17 foot by 12 foot, those are the types of considerations. That adds to the HFR.
So we thought on this. I'm working on this design with multiple architects across the town. And after discussing 2.5 years, I come up with this plan because in this I don't need to break anything and I can box my house. So whatever number you are seeing, number may be large, but I'm just extending this wall. I'm not going behind this wall. So if I have to make it little more compact, then I need to end my room before this end of my current property building structure. That will be, very odd plan, like.
Okay. So I think what you're hearing, and does anybody else want to speak? Michael?
I mean, overall, I do think that you did a good job with like the space you have with the design overall. It does feel a little too dense, so one of the things that I would have suggested, and I'm not sure if anyone agrees with this, but just the surrounding properties, like a lot of them have that garage that's tucked back, so I kind of think a better way to approach this is like, keep most of that added density in the back and maybe just don't go with that bedroom above the garage, so that like the way that it, flows from the street view, it's like less of a presence up front. But
So-
just throwing that out there.
So
as,
to understand your point,
because that would
yeah.
reduce the deviation for the FAR variance
So-
pretty significantly, I think.
So to understand in simple way, you are suggesting the garage that I'm bringing in front, I should not build a room above.
That's one way that you
That's one
could
way, yeah.
reduce the density, but there's probably other approaches. I think some of the other board members express like things you could do in the back by, not going back as far with that 5th bedroom. But I think that might be one way to like fit the character of the surrounding properties, since like not much of them have that big, a lot of them have these lengthy driveways, so there's not that presence felt up front as much.
Right. You're hearing from the board concerns about, I don't think you're hearing concerns from the board about the bulk variances, the side yard setbacks, but you're hearing concerns about the habitable floor ratio. And so I think you need to rethink this plan.
But I myself has done a lot of brainstorming with my architect, with my friends, with my family. And we also don't want to overbuild something because it's an expensive world. And that reflects in my plan also because I'm not building anything above 2nd floor on my deck or above my kitchen, right? So the way when I was thinking, designing all these things, putting it, working with the professionals, we are starting our garage almost like a 10 feet behind from the start of the current building structure, so that we already considered. If I have to reduce the room size, which is the depth, because width is everyone okay, that 12 feet it has to be there because of the garage, right? So if I reduce the depth, then I will not be, this structure will look very inefficient, not so good, because it will not be touching this wall. It will end, like 10 feet before it or something, 5 feet or X number of feet before it, right? And even above if you see what I'm doing, I'm just matching this corner of the current building so that it will look nice. Otherwise, my structure will be half here, kitchen roof will be going out, kitchen wall is going out, the first floor is ending before the kitchen wall. So that will become, a very, very odd looking house.
No.
Let me chime in here. We've had 3, 4, 5 of us discuss. We understand what you're doing. We've also, many of us have rebuilt our houses and trying not to spend too much. We're going around in circles, so I think there's 2 options. You can ask the board to take a vote, or you can figure out how to come back and make it a little smaller so we can actually swallow it.
Maybe you don't build on the right, maybe you don't extend over where the deck is, maybe leave that and just extend over the garage and leave that area.
Let's not redesign it.
I'm not
Let's just-
redesigning it for you, but there
Yeah.
are other ways that you can look at it, like that, I don't think that it's only set in stone exactly how you have to look at other
Yeah.
options on how you can design it. I'm not redesigning your house, but I think there are other ways that you can look at it to reduce the mass.
Right, you basically have 2 choices right now. Excuse me, you can have us take a vote, which I don't think will go in your
No, I
favor.
will not go for it.
Right, or you can revisit, you can sit down with your professionals, your family, whoever else you want to speak with, and rethink this, and then come back.
No, I think she gave me a good idea. Rather than trimming down from the right side, the going behind the deep in the garage and building, I can work with my architect and see if I can come up with a better design for this deck area that will give little bit of the percentage to meet the requirement, and I will reduce my numbers in terms of the percentage, but still I'm well within the 30 to 20, but I will try to improvise my plan by considering this area. That's why, we are not building anything above this and this, because I
No,
need.
We understand.
you said that,
We
you
got it.
said that, we
We're clear.
understand.
We're very clear.
You need, right.
Crystal.
You need to come back with something with a smaller ratio.
All right.
So,
Is there any magical number by chance, like?
No, we don't give out numbers.
But you sat here today, so you could probably get an idea.
All right.
so, Ms. Hollis, November? So,
Yes, ma'am.
our
Can you give me
meeting,
October, please?
That would mean you'd have to get a
Yeah, I
new
will.
plan to.
29th.
To the
but
zoning
you'd have to
officer
have,
by-
your architect would have to have your plans into the town by the
Yes,
29th.
Yes, he is also a town resident only, so I will start working with him by tomorrow morning. Because after doing 2.5 years of the research and brainstorming, so that I don't break my existing footprint, don't touch it, then come up with this design, which is neither impacting my current house and, construction can be done separately and all, so
Okay, yeah.
that's why I'm so excited for this
No,
project.
we understand. What I don't want is for you to have to, for us to schedule you for October, your professional to not be able to get the documents done in time, and then you have to renotice everybody. So if you're confident that you can get everything in by September 29th, then that's fine. Ms. Hollis will put you on the October calendar.
Yeah, I'm confident.
Jackie, I got a request. When he resubmits the plan, I got to be able to see the zoning table. I can't see it.
Right.
Seriously.
A bigger size.
It's very tiny.
Even with readers, I can't see it. So we need.
No, I should say thanks to her.
Yeah.
She was very helpful during the whole process. My architect was on vacation, and then I got an email that, okay, you are scheduled for September 12, and everyone is enjoying the long weekend vacations with the family.
So what Mr. Nardone is saying is that even if you give us the plans at this size, give us a separate page with
Yeah,
this
that's fine.
table with all the numbers. Yes, you have at the bottom you have this zoning table that gives
Really
all
hard to
the
see.
variances and
Add
all the
another
numbers.
page.
Okay, no problem.
We make it, if you're gonna give us plans this size, just give us a separate
Right.
page with that zoning
Very
table so that we can all, because we want to help you.
The reason for that is my architect.
No
was
problem.
vacation.
Don't
We
worry, don't worry.
understand.
Just for next time.
So again, you'd have to have those plans over to our zoning office by the 29th, and then the set for the board by October 13th.
Sure. And do I have an option that if I do my research homework, find similar footprint which I doubt I will be able to find, because I heard you guys are for long-serving zoning board, so you know each and every house which you have approved.
Talk to your professional. Maybe even consider bringing your professional here, but talk to your professional, and you guys have to come up with it. Okay? That's up to you. It's your house, your style of living. You have to come up with it. We just have to review it and have to be okay with it. And you heard plenty before you came up here, so you know how this board is going.
And as Mr. Nardone said, it might be helpful for you to bring your architect with you to help answer some of these questions or address some of the design plans. Okay, so this will be adjourned.
Jackie, if we have heat next time?
Or Livingston sweatshirts?
It's freezing. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.